Welcome back to Fire Emblem the Sacred Stones. Last time, Selena fulfilled her final oath and sadly died in battle against us. But now, it's time to find the true cause of this war once and for all. Strap yourselves in, there are going to be a lot of cutscenes in this one. This is pretty much the biggest plot revelation that happens on Ephraim's route. Besides the stuff with Selena's backstory, I guess. Now, Ephraim Chapter 14, which as you can see is at Grotto Keep, is just like Erika's Chapter 14, in that we'll be sent into Chapter 15 right afterwards without being able to go to the world map. So, now is as good a time as any to prepare. But it's actually your only time for a little bit. So, firstly, some item management. Obviously, we want to put that talisman in the convoy. That Zambato, there aren't any mounted enemies in the next chapter, so I don't even need that. Tana is fine. The heavy spear is going to be very useful in the next chapter. Definitely keep that on you. Also, speaking of very useful, restore staves. Something that I will stress now, and I'll also stress again once we get to the chapter, do not even think about attempting this chapter without at least, well, without 2 restore staff users. Now, Mulder already starts out with a C ranking staff, so you've already got one covered there. But having LaRachel as one of your restore staff users is going to be useful because we need to bring her to the next chapter anyway. So, yes, 2 restore staff users. Make sure you have them, because you're not going to be able to avoid Berserk in this chapter. So, speaking of, let's go ahead and give Barrier. Barrier can kind of help in staving off Berserk, but it's not entirely reliable. Joshua, let's see, that Armor Slayer might be important, but I'd probably rather that on Garrick. I might as well convoy that Hero's Crest. We're going to be promoting soon, but not quite yet. As for Amelia, let's see. Dragon Spear, that's a bit of a weird weapon, but let's... I might have to take Decel's Steel Lance. And you can get rid of that energy ring. I think Ross is pretty much fine with weapons at this point. A hammer can be useful, but Ross does a good enough job of killing armored enemies regardless. You, though, you are going to need a better weapon here. For that purpose, I'm actually going to go here and retreat out of the skirmish. Okay, now we can enter the armory. So Cormag, who I am going to be using in this next chapter, is going to go ahead and get a Steel Lance. Ephraim, I believe, needs another iron one. Yes, he definitely does. And I'm going to go ahead and find someone with an empty inventory, which would be you, and I'm going to go ahead and buy a bunch of javelins. Just because having an extra few of these in stock will help for the next chapter. So now to manage items. Also, you go ahead and put this stuff in the convoy. And I'm going to go ahead and give Ephraim 1 javelin, just in case he needs to use it. Cormac has a javelin, Amelia has a javelin, Tana has a pretty worn-down javelin, but it's still fun. You know what, I'm going to swap it for a fresh one, just because I'm going to be using a lot of javelins in this next chapter. And Joshua's fine. You might as well take something. I suppose you can grab the Silver Sword, although I'd kind of like that on Garrick as well. I mean, he does have the Steel Blade for extra power if he needs it. The Worm Slayer is not going to be useful, but it at least has a better hit rate than some of the other things that he can use. This should be okay. I think I'm fine to move out now. So yeah, also, you want to save a bit of gold, because this chapter is just like Erika's Chapter 14, in that it has a certain something you might want to spend gold on. So, let's move on to the keep. So it's time to end this once and for all. Although, the main stronghold of the enemy empire being only the end of one route that you might potentially not even go to, that should tell you something. So, look at the armor. Well, you can't see the armory because it's covered up by Ephraim's speech bubble. There's an armory and a shop here, so joke's on you, you never get to use these. They're just here as decoration. Kind of interesting that. There's also a bunch of forts here. I like that, you know, the game makes you think that you'd be fighting a battle out here because you can see the map, but turns out you never do. And so, just like Erica got a flashback in Chapter 14, so does Ephraim. Wonder if that means all of the other nations are named after heroes from the war. And yes, this is actually what the Fire Emblem is in this universe. So, for those who aren't aware, in every separate universe in the series, there's always some kind of MacGuffin called the Fire Emblem, but it's always different in every game. In this game, it's the Stone of Grado that has the Demon King's soul sealed inside it. Now, here's the funny thing, if you're playing Erica's route, you don't get this title drop until the very, very, very end of the game, which is kind of weird. And if you haven't played Ephraim's route, that title drop back there comes off really bizarre. It's just like, oh, what? Okay, that was called the Fire Emblem? Huh. It makes a lot more sense if you played this route. Yeah, very comprehensive, and probably a billion pages long. Ephraim like, me no like books. Me no read. Reading for smart people. They don't move. Well, I guess everyone has their own methods of learning. So this probably takes place sometime after that flashback with Erica did in Erica's Chapter 14. I mean, you know, someone who's never used a lance before in their life. Leon would probably be fighting like base level Amelia now I think about it. Which means Erica would still be able to beat him pretty easily. And another earthquake. Once again, it's a good thing Edgeworth isn't here. So once again, this detail is brought up. Well, we already knew it was inside there. Or the Emperor himself. Although, actually, it's from the stone that Leon has with him. Speaking of which... So we kind of get a double wham there. That first moment there that I'll discuss later. And then this. Hi there. Well, you kind of look like one now. Unfortunately, I can't look at this and not think of that memetic Super Mario Land 2 ad. Which I've never actually seen, but I've heard it's kind of a meme. So, we get the biggest reveal on Ephraim's route, one that you actually do miss if you go to Erica's. Vigard isn't just not himself, he's dead. This twist is actually kinda similar to something that ended up happening in, let's just say, a later game. So, yeah, they probably stole the idea from this one. This was actually quite a big surprise when I first played this game and I first played Ephraim's route. That line when Leon says, "when you died," even now that line still makes my jaw drop. They foreshadowed the fact that the Emperor is not himself, but the fact that he's actually dead, that's the really big twist. But anyway, I admit that the foreshadowing to that actual part of the reveal is a little minimal and could have used a little bit more, but still. So, this chapter. This chapter is a pretty big one in the throne room of Grotto. We've actually seen bits of this map before in cutscenes, but now we're finally here. A lot of decent weapons on the enemies here. Also, a lot of decent enemies. There are a few bishops here. This one has a sleep staff. This one here has a useless staff. So, yeah, silence. Silence in this game is almost as useless as the sniper short strike skill. It's really terrible. I'll tell you why once we actually get to it, but it's hilariously bad in the GBA games. We also have a bunch of archers in this central area that all have longbows, including a sniper with a longbow. And notice how they cover these areas leading up to the armor knights guarding the doors. So, this map is actually kind of tricky. Also, there's a bunch of enemies around here, and they also do something tricky. They cover their weaknesses with other groups of enemies, so these things are all sword users, so you think, oh, hey, I can just use a lance user here. Well, they put some axe users here to cover them. On the opposite side, you've got some axe users, except this one actually has a sword reaver, and they put some lance users here to cover them. I really like this. It forces you to think pretty strategically, and it's kind of a nice trap for the player. Now, we have a bunch of armors up here near this door, and a guy with Luna and a chest key guarding these 3 chests. Here's the thing, I'm actually going to ignore this part of the map entirely until the very end. Because you can afford to. These guys won't move unless you go right up to them. Most of the armors guarding the doors won't move. So, who am I going to bring to this chapter? Well, Ewan, yes, definitely going to bring Rachel. Tana, Natasha, Lute. As strange as it seems, I don't need Colum. Because his job is, well, let's just say that we're going to have a new person who'll be able to do it. Coming soon. Amelia, yes. Ross, yes. Joshua, yes. Definitely not Naomi. And I want Cormag. I also want Garrick. But I do want Teddy's as well. So here's the issue. As much as I really, really would like to bring Decel here for thematic reasons, he really should be here. And he does have a special boss conversation with Vigard. I'm gonna have to drop him because I really want Garrick, Cormag, and Tethys. Especially Tethys. And I don't want to drop any of my healers either. You know, really I probably should be dropping loot here, but I guess you can still do some stuff. Now, formation. Obviously, I want most of my sword users here. And I want most of my lance users on the other side. I also want Rachel and Tethys to be over here. Whichever way Rachel goes, Tethys should also go. Because you want to make sure that there are actually 2 ways you can approach a certain thing in this chapter you need Rachel for. It's kind of similar to Erica chapter 14. I'll talk about that once we get to it. For now, though, I'm gonna want, wait a minute. Might want Cormac to go a little bit further forward. Ross being back here is fine. Amelia being back here is also fine. Yeah, I'll have Natasha go here and make sure she got the restore staff. So yeah, you're split into 2 groups forcibly, and you want to make sure that you have a restore staff user in each group. Because, I forgot to address the elephant in the room, these guys, druids with very, very high magic stats and berserk staves. These things, This is by far the most annoying part of this chapter. Unlike in Erika's Chapter 14, there is no avoiding this. You are going to get hit by a Berserk Staff at least once, which is why you need Restore. Also, here's something annoying, because they also have regular attacking weapons, you can't actually see their staff range, so you have to count it yourself. Fortunately though, MP over 2, and you have 20 magic, you got 21, but it's effectively 20, because when it's halved, you round, I think you would round down, but anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They both have around 10 range. So, around this area. You need to remember to count that out. So, yeah, parts of this door are actually within range. And even all the way up to here. In fact, this guy marks the very edge of one guy's Berserk range. Because these guys, unlike Selena, they will move. So they'll be able to use their entire range for that staff. And also, with their high magic, it hitting you, especially if you have low resistance, is actually very likely. And people with low resistance are the ones that you really don't want to get hit by it, because they're usually physical fighters and they will rip people to shreds if they get berserked. So, with that ominous forewarning out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and save here. Well then, let's end this. We have this music again. I kind of feel like if this game ever got a remake, then it'd probably get a unique theme for this, kind of like Rudolph's in Echoes. But, you know, this is the last time we'll be hearing this song outside of skirmishes, so it's good to get it one more time. I really like how these torches look in this map as well. I like how Grotto Keep looks in general, actually. Okay, so the reason why I'm having you go here and fight this thing, and I need to turn his animations back on because you weren't present in the last chapter, so your animations are still set to off. There we go, I knew that'd get me at least once. But anyway, he, of course, is better at taking axes, so that's why. Then Tana it is, basically. So I'm going to send Tana up here, though. Everyone else, it doesn't really matter where they go, as long as it's forward. The general theme of this map is you want to be fast, but still cautious. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and have Teddy stands for Joshua here. It's not that imperative that Rachel goes really far forward now. It will be a bit later, but not quite now. So, I'm going to have Joshua fight this guy first. No crit in the first attack. If you get hit here, that might be bad. Okay, that's good. Of course, you crit on the second one. Yeah, this guy right here has a Sword Reaver, so I obviously want to keep out of range of that. I want to have Ephraim fight that guy. And then there's Garrick. Garrick will do some of the fighting here. And Rachel will also stay close. Like I said, it's not that imperative that she rush forward yet. You can probably tell what I'm alluding to, and it's by far the main, well, one of the two main annoyances of this chapter, that and the Berserk Staves. I don't find it to be that bad, but you still need to make sure that you have a plan in place. You want to actually get through these initial enemies pretty quickly. Now, you might miss one of these. No, you didn't. Okay, that's nice. Also, lol at him actually one-shotting that Myrmidon. Cormag is pretty amazing. Yeah, that was kind of coming. We're gonna have to deal with quite a few of these sword soldiers. Soldiers without sword users. Ah, no strength. But at least capping speed is nice. Okay, in a previous attempt, Joshua actually got hit by that. Okay, that was not an unnecessary critical. If you notice there, that would have done 1 less damage than he had HP, so that crit was actually needed. And there's a hand axe. Kind of useless against sword users as always. Here is the annoying part. You probably could have told this was coming. Oh, so apparently Grotto's the richest city on the continent. And the card is actually brought up on this route. It is just kind of in his inventory on Erika's. And that's exactly what he plans on doing. So he spawns at the end of the first enemy turn. Also, we're going to get more reinforcements from here and here for the next few turns, which is annoying. We want to basically rush up to these guys and break down these doors. Well, unlock these doors with keys as soon as we can. Because this guy's here. So Rennick is pretty much the same as he is on Erica's route. He's going to go for this chest, then he's going to go around this corridor, he's going to go for this chest, and then he's going to try and escape down these stairs. Just like on Erica's route, there are two ways you can handle this. You can either try and get him early by putting Rachel on this side, or you can try and head him off when he reaches this point by putting Rachel around here. I think the head him off strategy is more likely to succeed here, but I like to get to him early. That said, getting to him early while not dying horribly is also kind of tricky. We need to clear out these enemies quickly, and if I put Garrick there, he's going to get hit by the Sword Reaver, so I'm probably going to need to refresh him with Teddies. You know, alternatively, I just realized something. You know what might be better? Refreshing Ephraim with Teddies and actually killing the Sword Reaver right now. How far can Teddies go? Up to there. The thing about this map is, it's actually a lot smaller than it looks, so it's easy to misjudge the number of spaces between you and the enemy. But, yeah, I could just... Oh, wait. If I use the Axe Reaver, we go back to normal weapon triangle, although, funnily enough, I still have an 88 hit rate, because Ephraim is just that amazing. Like I said, you want to be fast, but also cautious. We want to take out these enemies as quickly as possible. And, oh hi there, weapon that's actually probably going to be useful for Ross, but the Sword Slayer totally outclasses it, but it's nice to have a less valuable alternative. So yeah, you might notice those armors around the middle. We're going to completely ignore them. That'll slow us down way too much. If we did that, then Rennick would escape the map. So we're going to wait until we have Rennick, and then we'll have him loot the treasury. For now, though, I don't think all three of these guys would kill Joshua if they all attacked him. All three plus the axe guy might. You know, I'm wondering what's safer. Going in there with a sword equipped so that the axe has less chance of hitting, or going in there with a lance reaver so the axe has more chance of hitting, but the lances have less. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Lance Reaver might actually be safer. Because it at least means that all three of you will have, like, no chance of hitting. Although some of them might go for Garrick instead. Meanwhile, on the other side, I want to send Amelia with a sword down here to fight these guys. Interestingly enough, one of the reinforcements has a droppable hammer. Also, there's a droppable armor slayer. Huh, I wonder if the map wants us to use them against the boss. Yeah, they really want to make sure you have all the tools you need to fight Vigard here. Actually, I just realized something. I could try out my new Sword Slayer. 50 damage! It is pretty heavy for Ross, but you often only need to hit once with it. In fact, I doubt there are many enemies in this game who could take more than one hit from this thing. But yeah, the Sword Slayer is pretty hilarious. Now, speaking of hilarious, there's also the fact that, for some very bizarre reason, Cormac actually doubles this guy, and Tana doesn't. Oh, actually she does, but only with a weapon that doesn't kill him. So, yeah. Cormac is kind of insane. Wyvern Riders in general in the series tend to be pretty amazing. They combine flying mobility with great strength, speed, and defense. They're usually pretty amazing in most games they appear in. Their only real weaknesses tend to be magic and bows, and not even bows in some games, like Radiant Dawn. Yeah, when I get to Radiant Dawn, I'm going to have a lot of fun talking about how they did a very bad job of balancing Wyvern Riders in that game. Yeah, Wyvern Riders are pretty hilariously stupid in that one. Okay, you have Luna, so that's a fixed 10 damage. However, like, I mean, I don't even need to fight you. I can just completely ignore you and it'll be fine. Although, I don't really want Tana to have to deal with that hand axe. You basically want to avoid healing in this chapter if you can help it, because, well, not exactly, you want to avoid taking a lot of damage if you can help it, because once we cross the threshold into where the Berserk Staves are going to be a threat, our healers are going to be spending most of their time using Restore Staves than they are actually healing, and that means we're not going to have much opportunities to heal our actual damage, so we want to make sure that we're mostly fine on health. And you're also going to get one-shotted, just like your other Myrmidon brethren. And that's probably A rank. I think that's A rank. Don't think A rank gives any real benefits. Okay, quite a few of them are going for Cormac here. But they're dying. Because, like I said, Cormac is pretty amazing. I think he's going to be fine, though. Yeah, no, one of them can't. I mashed the A button too quickly. I didn't want to send my Killer Lance. What's he going to equip now? I hope it's not something that reduces his evasion. Oh, and I'm far away from Ephraim, so I can't take that Killer Lance back. Well, I hope whatever Cormac has is going to help him get through. And yeah, this is why I wanted to equip this, because now we have 3 enemies that aren't going to hit Joshua at all. Oh, that's really frustrating that I happen to get rid of that killer. So yeah, it's an issue with my gamepad, is that sometimes when I just nudge the A button once, it actually mashes it twice. Obviously, I was meant to send that hammer to the convoy, but yeah, I may have to borrow a lance from someone else for Cormac later on, because he's going to be MVP a bit later. Or at least I hope he is. Yeah, 1 hit of 17 is probably fine on its own, and that was the last use of the Lance Reaver. Kind of a shame, because it's going to be... Well, I mean, it's not going to be that useful against these armors, because I'd rather use the Armor Slayer. They all went for Cormac. Yeah, I probably should have put Cormac in a position where they would have gone for Amelia, but it's really not that big a deal. So, there's a spear. The treasure here, there's a bit of a theme. It's similar to... It's pretty similar to the treasure in Erica Chapter 14. Now... No doubling, of course. Actually, you guys do a lot of damage. Now, I need to go ahead and heal you. Even though I'm probably not going to use Cormac to fight off those guys. Or am I? Okay, there is one spot where you can get to the middle one with a javelin, and it will attack you on its phase with the javelin and die, and you won't be able to get shot by the archers. Which is right there. I might actually go for that, because... And I have the Restore Staff nearby too, which is good. There's a reason why I want the Restore Staff nearby. It's because Cormac is very susceptible to being hit by sleep. This bishop here has like a 70% hit rate with sleep on Cormac, which obviously you, yeah, don't want. Do I double you with any? Oh, I do double you with one of them. I guess I might as well do that then. Ross is going to be useful because there's going to be a few lance reinforcements coming from here, but I kind of think I might need to use him to take out these guys because, like I said, I want to get through here quickly. I mean, it's not that imperative we break through here quickly, because really I just want to break through here quickly to get Rennick. Yeah, so now that I think about it, maybe it isn't so imperative that I break through here quickly. That bishop is going to be there with Sleep Staff, and he's going to be a bit annoying for a little while, but for now, this wall is too thick for that longbow archer to fire over. Well, to fire over it. Tana. Huh, that's actually not bad. Though it's more a testament to how terrible these soldiers are. Can't believe they're still throwing regular soldiers at us at this point in the game. It's kind of amusing. I find it amusing, anyway, how in Fates, soldiers are actually a class that goes all the way up to level 40. Well, Lancers, as they're called in that game for some reason. Which I think is actually the European name of... Pretty sure it's the European name of the 3rd tier halberdier in Radiant Dawn. Don't know why they changed it, but yeah, Radiant Dawn has a lot of stupid cross-region name changes. I'll talk about that once I get there. So from here, Yeah, I can get around there with the Armor Slayer. Suppose I can fight this guy. Don't know if Garrick will double those other mercenaries. Well, if he gains speed, he might. Garrick has got some pretty weird level ups lately. He hasn't even gained strength, and he's got a 55% growth. Please tell me that his strength won't go the way of loot speed. 13. Yeah, no, Garrick wouldn't have doubled them anyway. Joshua can, but I'd kind of like to heal him a bit. Who has the... Okay, yeah, you have the Armor Slayer. Speaking of, I'd kind of like to heal him a bit. I'm going to need to have Rachel go here, I guess, and heal off Joshua a bit. Because now we are getting to the point where I do need to get Rachel kind of forward-ish. And here, thankfully, there isn't a Sleep Staff, and the Berserk Staff is going to... Oh, right, here's the thing. I need to calculate from here, because they do move. Alright. You have Berserk range up to there. That's a very bad thing. I'm going to have to attack you with the Javelin, man. Because Ephraim is pretty susceptible to being hit by Berserk. In fact, almost everyone is. I've mentioned it before, but those Druids' magic stats are so high that they have very high hit rates with Berserk against you. Very high. What was I doing there? I saw a bit of green down. Oh! I thought there was a way to see their staff range. You toggle it with the A button. I knew there was a way to do that. Yeah, so that's their Berserk range, and it's actually accurate here, unlike back in... Well, it should be accurate, yeah, unlike back in... With Selena's bolting range, I meant. Sorry, I was just more mesmerized by the fact that that actually works. Which is pretty cool. Now, who do I need to refresh with Teddy's? Yeah, I think Rachel. She won't be Or... You know what? Let's go ahead and refresh Ewan and see if I can kill one of these guys. You really only need to kill the middle one, but getting the side ones out of the way is definitely good because later on, you want to clear out all of these guys because, yeah, that bishop needs to die quickly, but usually the one who kills the bishop is in danger of potentially dying to the armors both above and below the bishop, as well as a Myrmidon who's above. I'm probably going to end up sending Ephraim in there, even though he's fully level capped, just because I want those enemies to die so that it's safe for Rachel, and that was a great level up. I mean, no speed, but still, you're almost capped on magic, which is pretty impressive. And I think Joshua will just stay here. And this is exactly what I wanted you to do, because now you're going to conveniently throw your door key right at Cormag in your death throws. Okay, this time, I'm not going to mash A. I'm going to wait, and now I'm going to do this. There we go, that's better. Going for Joshua, huh? Okay, that's good. Kind of annoying that you weren't able to normally two-shot, but... You wouldn't have been able to two-shot this guy anyway, even if you had gained one extra point of strength. Okay, those were some good criticals. Those were some good criticals. I'm glad for those. Because there are going to be more reinforcements coming too. And this is exactly what I'd hoped you'd do. I also need to not mash A, because I need to make sure that I don't... Well, actually that's fine, because Ephraim is the one who has charge of the convoy, so if I convoy this door key, he can still get it. I guess now we have 2 killer lances in the convoy. Now, luring these archers to the very edge is decent, because this is the only place you can actually attack them from. Okay, we've got about 1 turn to go for Cormag, and this is... Yeah, this is why Cormag is very susceptible to... Did I just call Rennick Cormag? But yeah, this is why Cormag is very susceptible to sleep, and of course it hit him. So Myrmidons from there, and Armor Knights from here, which is exactly why I put Tana with her heavy spear over this side. Now I can finally put it to good use. I wonder if I can just keep Tana here. I suppose I can toggle your range too. Just make sure you stay out of that range. Like I said, the hammer is not really necessary here because Ross, as long as he doubles these guys with a decently powerful axe, he doesn't even need a hammer. And I'm doing this specifically to lure the other archer over here. Gotta be careful of that sniper though. So I do want to unlock that door soon, but not just yet. Yeah, notice that right there, that's Berserk Staff territory. Okay, I think I need to think about getting Rachel into a good position now. Firstly, though, might want to have Ewan take out that one. Thankfully, longbows both aren't strong and are also kind of heavy, so longbow uses are pretty easy to double. That's not the best luck, though, getting hit by 2 of those in a row. I'm going to heal him this turn anyway, so it's kind of fine, but anyway. Oh, right, I can't put Ephraim there because that's Berserk range. And I'd much rather have Rachel heal here than have to... Actually, I need Rachel's movement open next turn. I can't afford to have to use Restore. So here's the point where things are going to get a little bit tricky. In fact, I might want to pull back and... 9 damage, 8 damage. That is going to kill you. But he does one-round both of those. So I'm going to want as many people up around... I kind of want to take your elixir. Might as well make sure that's the next weapon we... I kind of would rather use the Silver Sword than the Shamshir, honestly. Okay, so not Ephraim. You might as well be Ephraim with how amazing you are, but I'm going to have you use your can opener on this thing. Definitely want to be careful of our health, though, because like I said, come these next few turns, our staff users are going to spend most of their time using Restore rather than actually healing. Right. Of course, I don't want to make that bishop move right now, so... Somebody needs to waste their movement opening that door. And I think that somebody is going to end up being Rachel, because I'm probably going to need to refresh her movement anyway. Though I can afford to leave Rennick alone for another turn. Alright, let's go ahead and... Rachel's not going to survive long enough to use that elixir if she does get hit, so I probably don't need that. And remember what I said before about Restore Staves? Oh yeah, that sniper can reach the loot down there, so let's not do that. I'm gonna have to use the Restore stuff now, but first... Yeah, I'm gonna actually send Amelia up here. Yeah, you can't reach anyone of consequence, because you're gonna immediately die to Tana. And now it's Restore time. So something weird about Restore Staves, the sound effect that plays when using them. Is it just me, or does it sound very similar to a sound effect from one of the original Spyro games? It's kind of a weird thing to be bringing up in a Fire Emblem playthrough, but it kind of sounds like it to me. Cormag is... I'd like to get that guy, but Cormag can't go anywhere without either getting in range of a longbow or in range of Berserk. Although, admittedly, I do have a Restore Staff handy. Although, you can only get one status at a time, and that means that it'd leave you open to sleep somebody else, and I can't restore 2 people in one turn, so... Oh, right, that's a javelin. I might have to leave that guy alone. Don't want to exactly go into Berserk range right now. Yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna stay here. Not even moving Cormag this turn. We don't really need to rush this. I thought she'd get hit. And I might need to have her borrow an elixir from someone or something like that, because Natasha's going to be spending her next few turns using Restore and not healing. Now, yes, I did use that elixir, which is good. And Joshua doesn't even need crits here, but he gets one for good measure. Okay, next guy. Yeah, both hit, which is why I used the elixir earlier. Wouldn't mind having Joshua on hand to possibly kill that bishop, but I don't know. And... well, no, I attacked with Ross that turn, didn't I? So I couldn't have equipped the hand axe anyway. Okay, both you and the sniper are going to get lured. Well, I mean, actually, it did help you, because that might have missed anyway, but still, like, I was more laughing at how pathetically low that damage was. That would be bad. Oh, crap. Okay, remember when I called silence useless?
This one here has a useless stuff. So... yeah, silence. Silence in this game is almost as useless as the sniper sure strike skill. It's really terrible. I'll tell you why once we actually get to it.
It was less useless than I thought it would be. That's really bad. That's disgustingly bad, actually. How many turns are you silence for? Because I can't cure that. There's no item that cures silence status, and I don't have a Restore Staff user on this end of the map. And I can't advance here without getting to Berserk range, and there's no way in hell I'm going in there without... oh, you sneaky bastard! Wow! Okay, all my plans went down the toilet in an instant there. So... like, now I'm just thinking, okay, it's not that bad, because I can just cut Rennick off on this side, but the problem is that I won't be able to get Rachel around there fast enough. Because, like, everywhere here is Berserk range, and you're silenced for 4 turns. I wish there was an item that cured silence, but there isn't. I'm completely stuck now. Oh, well played, random bishop. Damn you. Okay, so things have suddenly got a lot more interesting. Guess I can probably restore you. Silence usually has awful hit rates against people who actually use magic, i.e. the people that it actually matters for, but I didn't expect a 40 hit rate on Rachel. That was not what I... when I practiced this, he never even used silence, so... oh yeah, she would have been in range anyway. I was wondering if I was only just in range, but it looks like I'm not. Sorry, I'm angry now, actually. I really didn't count on Rachel getting silenced. Because usually silence is never a threat to you. Because without restore, there is absolutely no way I'm doing that. And this is a problem because I can try and block Rennick, but if I do, there are reinforcements that spawn from around here. So I won't be able to block him for very long, and... I don't even have... I mean, I don't really know what I can do with Cormag here. He's not in bow range or lunar range here. No, I know he's in berserk range, but... Okay, how much damage do you do then? 10. Can you kill this bishop? You... wait a minute. 17 times... That's enough! That will do it! At least that's the sleep staff gone. And we get that for when Natasha promotes. And I guess you can squash this armor. No crit there. And you get hit, of course you do. Just gonna ignore these archers for now. Oh no. Natasha can't... I should have thought this through more. Kind of lost it because I didn't expect that silence thing, but now... Let's see, I don't even know what to do on this front now. Everyone here is just completely stalled. Ephraim can go here, I guess. And I can't even heal either. Also, I think the amount of turns that you're affected by a status for is also random, so I probably got really unlucky on the number of turns Rachel was silenced for as well. That's in range of getting attacked by... but I kind of want that sniper gone. It'd take far too long to get Rachel all the way around the other side. I wonder what the silence hit rate against Ewan is. Because, you know, knowing my luck, it'll probably hit Ewan as well. Oh, if that silence didn't happen, I'd pretty much be in for smooth sailing by this point in the chapter. It's probably karma for me actually saying... I guess all the enemies rush to... Oh, you had the Lance Reaver, which is pretty funny. I guess all the enemies rush to wherever your main... concentration of forces is after one of the doors opens, which makes sense. Because usually I open both doors at the same time. Well, mostly. Ow. There goes Rennick. Oh, okay, you are in range of Natasha, I believe, so that's fine. But yeah, Cormag is very susceptible to being hit by Berserk, so you want a Restore Staff user on hand at all times to cure him. And animations automatically go off for Berserk characters by default, that's why that happens. The problem is, I'm worried about Rennick, like, if I completely block him off here, I'm worried that he'll actually attack us, and then I'd have to get rid of all of my weapons so as to not kill him. Thankfully, loot actually does double these archers, so that's good. Okay, yeah, wherever Cormag goes, you have Luna, so actually probably less of a threat to someone like Cormag. But yeah, wherever Cormag goes, you want to make sure that a Restore Staff is nearby, because he his resistance is so bad that he's gonna get hit by that a lot. I've seen 100% hit rate from Berserk Staves on him before. Now, Amelia. Yeah, see, here's the issue that I was talking about, how your healers spend all their time restoring, so you actually can't heal very much in these few turns. This would not have happened if Rachel hadn't been silenced. Oh, she dodged one. I guess it's kind of fair that another one hits her. That was quite a bit of experience. 17, that's actually not that much, being a longbow. Although you'll probably just go into a place where I can't counter you from. So I'll just go up here and I guess I'll use this. Perhaps I could try blocking Rennick with Tana because she's a lot weaker in terms of actual attacking. Or Ross because he won't be able to hit that often. Getting doubled by Ross. Yeah, that's how heavy these longbows are. So I guess these guys are mostly gone. Now it's just an issue of whether I'm totally screwed. Because the main point that I could get screwed here is actually getting Rennick killed. Which is weird, but because that doesn't normally happen. Still 3 turns! And yeah, Restore is the only way to cure silence, which you can't use while you're silenced. Now I'm wishing that Radiant Dawn's staff equipping effects were a thing, because in that game I think equipping a Restore staff automatically cured you of status between turns. I don't know if that worked on silence or not. Oh hey, your magic is capped. And 1 point of extra speed is nice too. Can't even lure anything here because this door is too wide. I mean, 2 is in the number 2, not T-O-O. I guess you can get another level up. Now, I wonder, is it possible that Rennick might decide to go down here and go for these chests if I block him off here? I don't think so. I think he'll probably just try go through here, which is really bad. I've never seen these armors do this before. That guy has a killing edge, I do need to watch out for that. Although even if, I mean, he's probably no threat to Cormac anyway. No one-shot on this guy, though. I'll just keep on playing to see whether or not I'm already screwed. And once again, I'm forced to use a Restore Staff. Thankfully, Berserk only has 3 uses, so there's only 1 more use left of that. And yeah, now is time for what I like to call the Mage Blitz, although normally I actually have Ewan around here to fight off all of these guys, but it's not happened this time. So let me just check something. That's not really bad. But right now, I kind of have to kill these guys. They come for quite a few more turns. I think the Berserk stuff is programmed to always target whoever it has the highest hit rate against, so I don't think I run the risk of him deciding to Berserk Amelia. I mean, if the AI wants to be a real jerk, it'd Berserk Amelia while she's over here, but... that's not quite a one-shot. Because, yeah, there's really... I have to use the Restore Staff. Restore also seems to give pretty great weapon experience, which you'd probably only be able to notice if Rachel was the one using it. Because you're already A-ranked on weapon experience for staves, I believe, and you're also capped on resistance, which I don't usually see you do before promotion. So that's at least pretty cool. Gotta be careful of Rennick, though. I mean, I could try and block him this turn, but I'm worried that his AI will decide to attack me. And that's not something that we want him to do. I just really, really, really don't want him to attack me. And I kind of need to kill this other mage, because there are going to be even more coming. Like I said, if the AI wanted to be a real jerk, it would have actually, it would try and berserk Amelia at this turn, and I'd have no way of curing her. But we'll see how this goes. You've got pretty blessed so far, I'll take that. Although, didn't that happen on 2 consecutive level ups? It would be really funny if he tried to berserk Natasha, but I don't think he'll ever do that. It'd be funny, though. Huh. Where should Luke go? Because there is a Killing Edge Myrmidon incoming. Meanwhile, everyone down here has nothing to do. Because I don't want to open the door for fear of the Berserk stuff. While we're silenced. You know, I just realized something. Rennick is probably rejoicing that Rachel has been hit with silence. Maybe that was their plan all along. Their plan to help Rennick escape. Oh yes, something else that I should mention that's also really annoying that Rachel happened to get hit by silence is that the silence thing, you can't, I believe, talk to characters or support while you're silenced either, which is a really nice touch. At least I'm pretty sure that's the case. I know that in at least one of the games, silence actually locked you out of supporting or talking. Is it just me, or did Rennick move much more slowly this turn than he normally does? Did he even move at all? I'm not entirely sure. Okay, well that is the last of the Berserk uses for this side of the map, so that's good. Don't need to worry about that anymore. But now... this guy. I'm actually wondering, I know I really don't want Cormag to kill Rennick. I'm wondering what would happen if I were to move Cormag right in front of where Rennick is and just chuck a javelin at the Myrmidon behind. Of course, in an off-camera practice run, Luke gained magic and speed on a level up in this chapter, so yeah. Nope, don't want to do that. Don't really want to do that either, but guess I'll do this. I don't like these crit rates as well, because critting Rennick would be bad. I think there's 3 waves of these mages, and shamans on the other side. Which is going to be annoying because there's going to be an enormous flood of them by the time I open the door on the other side, which is going to be pretty bad, actually. Wait a second, did Rennick move at all last turn? I get the feeling that he didn't, and that might be because the weight of the treasure is blocked. Because we're literally blocking the treasure here, and we're also blocking his escape route. Huh. I just thought of that. Maybe he's actually gonna stay there. One turn. We're almost, well, actually not quite ready to push through because we have a bunch of shamans up here. This chapter has become quite silly. Definitely didn't expect it to go this way. But I guess that makes things more exciting. No plan survives contact with the enemy, I guess. Okay, the other guy's coming. Thankfully, though, I still have a restore staff here. Rennick really isn't moving. Oh, that's actually a really good thing. Huh. I guess he's programmed to not move if you block the treasure room. In that case, recruiting this guy is much easier than I ever expected. Because I can just block him here and there's nothing he can really do. He's stuck here until Rachel gets to him. Kind of just imagining what he's thinking right now. I mean, he's probably pretty terrified of the giant wyvern sitting in front of him. But yeah, I guess his AI is just programmed to freeze if you block off the treasure. So I guess things did kind of work out in the end. These are the last of the mage reinforcements, so it doesn't matter what I really do here as long as this one dies. And, well, that's definitely this one dying. If anything, I'm kind of glad for you going that, although, yeah, Berserk is still... And there are 4 Shamans over here. Now, 2 of them have Luna. So, here's the question. Who currently... Well, Rachel's the one with the key, actually. And there's a few more over there. Because I definitely want that Bishop to die, but I don't want Ephraim to get mobbed by a bunch of enemies. Let's go for Joshua healing first. Also, the Bishop has weapon triangle advantage over Ewan. Ewan otherwise would just destroy all of those Shamans. Normally, I like just putting him in their path and having them all die, but it was not to be here. Oh, great, I just realized you're probably going to try and silence the Rachel again, aren't you? That is a really, really, really bad thing to happen. I just realized that would not be good. Okay. I would say I can pretty much discount the Luna guys from ever hitting anyone, but with my luck, that's probably a lie. I think that Bishop needs to die right now. Oh, hey, Rachel can unlock the door and run, which is probably a good thing because I mean, Rennick is just gonna stay there. $10 damage is not awful. But getting a Shamshir crit would be nice. Although he's got a somewhat decent crit rate, and you got a lot of... Oh, you got 10 luck. That's pretty good by normal enemy standards, but... Oh yeah, the whole thing about Luna being essentially discounted against you and Luna is kind of scary. If he gets hit by a lot of it. Yeah, you're still not that big of a threat if I... How much does Flux do? 15... 17... I just thought of something if someone here gets berserked and I need Rachel to get to them, but I think that should be okay. 15, 17, and 9 resistance, so you take, like, 6 from 1, and from 17, that would be 8. So, 6, 8, 14, plus the 10, plus potentially a couple of Lunas. Or, oh, that's not even that good of a crit rate. But I mean, it's at least an existent crit rate, so I might as well go for that. Come on, crit, please. Okay, no. Alright, that was a hit. I might need to be a little worried about Ephraim here. Getting hit by both these Lunas shouldn't be too bad, because the other Shamans are going to do nothing to you at all. In fact, they might literally do... In fact, they do literally do nothing. Just remembered that I had their mites calculated just then. The Shaman dodge animation is still pretty funny. Just slight teleport backwards. Do need to be a bit careful here, because they love berserking Ephraim. Ephraim is very, very susceptible to that. Okay, he gets attacked by 3 things, one of which is Luna, which is a fixed 10 damage. I mean, he will actually die if he gets hit by all 3, but... I mean, I don't want to say I doubt it, because that could end badly, but... It's not terrible odds. Oh, also Lute and Ross are over here, who are just gonna sit here and not do much for the time being. Okay, Ephraim, please survive. I mean, their hit rates are pretty bad. I don't want to speak too soon, but... Okay, that's one miss. That's probably enough for him to survive, now that I think about it. 6. Wow. And yeah, Ephraim's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Why was I ever worried? Why was I ever worried? I really did need to kill that bishop this turn, because I could not have afforded Rachel to be silenced again. Five shamans. And you're going for Garrick. I mean, it's still a very high hit rate. And then, yeah, he got berserked, but you only have one berserk left. And it's kind of fitting that I have Teddy's here, because I need to both restore and heal Garrick. Guess next turn I can show off the status screen description of Berserk looks like, because it's pretty funny. I accidentally discovered I can't believe that I accidentally discovered a really good method of stopping Rennick from escaping. It's weird, he just freezes if you block off the treasure room. It's kind of bizarre, and I love that he's not attacking me either. Because normally you'd expect, because in some games in the series, if you block off a thief's escape route, and I'm actually just going to keep you two there, just in case you're the pin holding this whole AI strategy together. But in some games, if you block off a thief's escape route, they'll just attack you. Which can be really dangerous with the, I know they're not thieves, but the Entombed in Exponential Growth and Awakenings DLC can be pretty dangerous with them, because they can be quite powerful and have counter, and, yeah. Oh, I can't one-shot you. I can one-shot you, though. Garrick probably needs a little bit more experience, actually. He's not, like, really, really lagging behind, but he's a little bit behind. I think Flux is the highest priority on my kill list. Because Luna has a non-existent hit rate, even though it can potentially do more damage depending on your resistance stats. Okay, Josh was up to 19 now. Everyone is getting close to 20. No strength, but 1 point of resistance in this situation is not a bad thing. Right, what do I... Yeah, the Flux guys are no threat to Ewan at all. I'm also surprised that Ewan's Flux Tome itself has held out for so long. I'm surprised that I haven't recruited Rennick yet, but I blame the Silence Staff. Yeah, I shouldn't have tempted fate by saying that Silence is hilariously... Like, it's usually useless in this game because staff hit rates being based off of resistance mean that against against magic users, which is the only thing that it's useful against, it, I suppose I can do this. It has a pretty awful hit rate. It's a lot better in Fates. I like what they did with Silence in Fates, but here I find it's usually useless, but it's actually been not that useless this chapter. You still have one use of Berserk, but I'm fine. Like I said, Luna is pretty much non-existent as far as threat goes, although last time I said that Ross died to it. And Garrick again. That's fine. As you can see though, the hit rates with those Berserk staffs are really high, and yeah, considering how powerful a lot of the characters you should have at this point are, you don't want to get people hit with Berserk. But anyway. Roar! I just love that, it's just... It's funny, every status condition has like some kind of onomatopoeia or something on the status screen to describe it. Like poison is oog, which is, it looks kind of silly, but I wonder if they were all, like, Japanese has this enormous number of onomatopoeias, and Japanese, the Japanese language can use onomatopoeias as kind of serious literary devices rather than just in, like, comic book situations like English does. So It probably made a bit more sense there, but some of them are still pretty funny in this game. Speaking of which, there's an unused status condition in this game called Sick, which we have no idea what it would have done, but it exists in the prototype version and it isn't coded to do anything, but it's there. Don't know how it would have been different from Poison at all, but and I don't know what would have caused it. Maybe a certain type of monster? Maybe Revenants could have caused it? I don't know, but I guess it was planned to do something, and then it was scrapped at the last... Well, not at the last minute. It was probably scrapped quite early into development, because the prototype version of this game, which I actually might be showing footage of later on as a bonus, the prototype version of this game still had a lot of graphical assets and all the music from Blazing Sword. So obviously it was a pretty early build. Although I read that it actually was a quite late build. Anyway though, we're almost going to recruit Rennick. Way behind schedule, but still. Here we go, finally! So, I'm actually going to skip this. Rachel's recruitment conversation with Rennick is the same as it is for Chapter 14 on Erica's route, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. So we have Rennick now. I also want to mention that you can recruit him with Ephraim as well, just like you can with Erica on her route, but it'll cost you 9,800 gold, so I don't recommend you do that. Aside from being slightly harder to recruit, Rennick serves the exact same role he does on Erica's route over here. Not much else to say.